What's up, guys? Welcome to Vintage Genetics, where it is all about classic bodybuilding, and this will actually be the final workout that I'll show you guys before going to the Romania Pro. This is actually from 7 days ago. Right now it's the 29th of October, and this was recorded on the 22nd of October. So that was a little longer ago, so it was at least 2 weeks out here. And so the shape you're going to see here will be even more improved on the day of the show, of course, but that will be visible on the day of the show. I'm very pleased with how everything has been going. This prep has been amazing. And yeah, so you guys know I'm now competing as a classic physique competitor, one of the 12 competitors at the Romania Pro. You know, I am from the Netherlands, Europe, so it's only a 3-hour flight for me, not even 3 hours, I think, to get to Romania. It's in Europe as well, so it's a very big difference compared to having to travel all the way to America for the Olympia in Las Vegas or the Arnold Classic in Ohio. So, you know, it really... it prevents having a jet lag, it prevents having lost a day flying, it prevents having to take special measures from not taking in sodium or carbs from the long flight, because this flight is pretty much negligible. And I hit a very good shape at my pro qualifier I did in 2018, the Royal London Pro, which was only 1.5 hours of flying, so I didn't have to change anything to my diet. I could literally take the shape I had at home to the competition, and this time I will do that as well. But I can tell you one thing, the conditioning I have right now is the best that I've ever had in my life. And the fullness as well, the weight is higher than it has ever been, closer to the stage weight as it ever been as well. So it's going to be very amazing. But yes, I'm training the back right now, wearing the Vintage Genetics hoodie, right now taking it off. But it is on a discounted sale on vintagegenetics.com, so make sure to check it out and use the code ROMANIA PRO 20 to get an additional 20% off any clothing item you order on the Vintage Genetics web shop. Anyway, we are doing the back, and we're starting out with the assisted pull-ups. So first we do the wide grip, and the wide grip really enhances the the inside of the lats mostly. It's of course a pull down exercise, but you're pulling yourself up. It's comparable to a lat pull down, but in my opinion, when you're using your body weight in a pull up motion, you can actually hit the muscles far better. You can pull yourself up higher than you could with a lat pull down, so you can actually get deeper contraction in the muscles. So a wide grip really targets those lats and the inner lats, and this close grip really hits the outer lats, especially when you go all the way down. The stretch is just amazing, but when you go all the way up, since it's a close grip, you will hit the lower lats, which is of course has always been something I need to improve, because my lats insert higher from the front, so I want to develop them as low as possible. The more muscle mass I develop on the low end, the lower they look like they will be inserted. So doing everything I can to make my body as perfect as possible, using the tools in the gym to sculpt my physique exactly as I want it. So first starting out with 2 variations of the assisted pull-up, and of course I could do pull-ups with just body weight, but since I weigh above 110 kilograms, that would not allow me to do a lot of volume, because I would hit failure before hitting 10 reps with a full range of motion. That's why I use an assistant pull-up machine. If you don't have an assistant pull-up machine, you can use resistant bands, which actually help a lot as well. But now we are doing the V-par pull-down, or the small grip pull-down, and this really targets the lats, the outer lats as well. But you can really contract the inner lats, the inner back very well at the same time, because it's kind of a combination of a row and a pull down, in my opinion. Because with a pull down you need to sit entirely straight to really hit those lats, but with the V-bar pull down you can sit back a little bit and really target those rhomboids and the inner back for that thickness. And when you go upwards, you stretch out the lats as much as possible to work on the V shape. And of course my dad is right here. He's been with me every single day the last few weeks preparing for this contest, helping me past failure, helping me put on the weights on the bars, just you know, to have a workout partner with you, especially in the last few weeks and days in a contest prep, is just makes a world of difference, because you do feel quite tired when you're in such low body fat percentage. And by the way, of you guys who have seen my guest performance, this is, I think, 2 days after the guest performance that I did, so I still have a little bit of tanning on. Wish I had this color the entire time, but using a tanning bed that often isn't that good for you. In the Netherlands, it's cold, it's gray outside, so you cannot really go outside to get a tan. So if you want a tan, you simply need a tanning bed, but at the same time, you want to keep your skin healthy and cancer-free. So to minimize that, you don't use a tanning bed that often, but getting a nice tan like this by Pro-Tan is incredible, of course. Then we move on to the first rowing exercise. I like to use the Smith machine to really focus on the lower lats and the middle back. The back thickness is something I've been really working on. You can see that in the next set, how I'm really targeting contracting that middle back, because that's this right here, these shoulder blades going together. That's what you want to feel and see when doing an exercise like this. If you cannot do this top part where you really pull your shoulder blades together, the weight is too heavy, which is why I'm not using a super heavy weight here, because I really want to work on the back thickness and that contraction that I get. And that's why I use a lighter weight to be able to use a full range of motion. A lot of people get away with using heavy weights and get muscle mass there anyway. That's what I've done in the past. It only gave me back width, but not the thickness. And for me, the thickness has improved quite a lot by focusing a lot more on full range of motion with a slightly lighter weight, being able to fully contract the back. Those last few centimeters of contraction will get you the results you need. And right here I'm wearing the Vintage Genetics leather weightlifting belt, also available on the web shop. Of course, I'm using my own name right here, but normally there's Vintage Genetics Classic Bodybuilding on there. So if you're interested, check it out on vintagegenetics.com. And of course, when you are in a good shape, you want to do some posing in between to actually feel how it feels. I always recommend for people who have trouble with a mind-muscle connection during posing, that you have to do some poses when you're training that muscle group. So hitting that back double bicep, that back lat spread, when you have a pumped up back is much easier, because you can literally feel the muscle hanging off the bone. You can literally feel where it is, so it's much easier to get a mind-muscle connection inside the muscle when posing. So when training chest, you do a side chest. When training arms, you do a side tricep, stuff like that, to really make sure that you know where the muscle is located on your body and how to, you know, contract it on your own without having to use a weight to contract it for you. Alright, this next exercise looks quite a lot like the barbell row that I just did, but this is actually a T-bar row. This is a belt squat machine with which you can do a lot of exercises, but I like to do for the back wide grip T-bar rows right here. Neutral grip, so it's a hammer grip just like you would have on a T-bar row. I like to use a wider grip, because the wider the grip, the more tension is shifted to the middle of the back, and that's what you want to work on if you want to work on the thickness. And in my opinion, I only go heavy on, you know, solid machines. You saw me go quite heavy and intense on the assisted pull-up machine, on the V-bar pull-down. But when you start to do some more free weight stuff, you know, it's not kind of free weight, but you're still freer than sitting on a machine like the Smith machine, barbell row, or this T-bar row. I like to minimize the weight a little bit more to be safe rather than sorry, because an injury is something you do not want to feel before heading to the stage. Right now, the goal is to get as much blood inside the muscle to preserve the muscle mass, get a nice full pump, get all the nutrients in there, so it can actually recover for the next workout, because calories are low. I'm keeping protein high to be able to recover, but calories in general and carbs are very low, so automatically, because I'm eating less, the micronutrient content in my diet is less as well. So you need to watch out going way too heavy, because without the micronutrients, without the proper calories, you simply recover a lot slower. And then when we are finished with the back, it's of course time for some bicep exercises. When I train the back or the chest, you already work secondary muscle groups like the biceps or the triceps. So instead of doing 3 separate exercises, I like to do only 2 separate isolation exercises to work on those relatively smaller muscle groups. And I always like to warm up the muscle as well with an empty bar like this. And here we are talking about that we're seeing improvements in the thickness of the bicep. You can see the brachialis muscle in between the tricep and the biceps. The thickness of that has pretty much improved because I'm really working on, consistent progressive overload, consistent volume, going to failure when necessary. And there's no secret to bodybuilding. It's simply looking at your weak points and your strong points and making sure that you work the weak points to become your strong points and make your strong points even stronger by doing consistent work with exercises that you feel and you know that work. So this barbell curl will always work, will always bring me the most gain, so that's why I keep doing it. As you can see, I'm using full range of motion, controlling the weight on the way down, because the tension or the eccentric motion on the way down, the negative part, destroys the muscle the most. And when the muscle is damaged, destroyed, metabolites are increased, are caused, you will actually cause hypertrophy, an effective hypertrophy. So all the nutrition you will eat will go to that muscle to recover it, repair it, and make it stronger and bigger for the next time. So don't smash the weights without thinking. As you can see here, I'm going heavier and heavier, but I'm still thinking about that full range of motion with a minimum amount of momentum used. When I'm going upwards, you can see my entire upper arm going upwards at an angle as well. And that is because if you don't do that, you cannot get a full contraction of the bicep. You have to go up a little bit to get that full contraction for that peak bicep motion. And without doing that, you will simply not create a peak that you could create if you do that. And the last exercise of the day is the alternating dumbbell curl, another old school exercise that simply will always work and do its job. You can see that I'm alternating in between arms. Most people don't think about it, but because you are alternating, you can actually keep going longer, because every time you do 1 rep with the right arm, the left arm is resting and vice versa. So you can actually, accumulate more oxygen in between reps. If you would keep going, you would actually deplete oxygen a lot faster, lactic acid will build up faster, and you cannot do as many reps. So this is a way to actually extend failure. If I would be doing both dumbbells at the same time, the set would be a lot shorter and I would be able to hit lesser reps with each arm. So that's why I like to do these alternating dumbbell curls, to really hit that failure a lot later than I would if I hit both at the same time. And also for people who have disbalanced arms or an imbalance in arms, if your left arm is bigger or smaller than the right arm, you start with the smallest or weakest arm and you end with the strongest. But even if you can do a lot more reps with the strongest, you already stop when you hit the same amount of reps you hit with the weakest or smallest muscles, so you can actually work on making them symmetrical. That's what bodybuilding is all about. You don't want a bigger right side than the left side. A lot of people do have this when they start out, and if they keep doing the barbell curls and the machine curls with both arms at the same time, you cannot really fix that problem as fast. If you hit more unilateral movements like this or alternating movements, you can work on it. And actually someone from New Jersey in America who's working here in the Netherlands came to the gym. He knew me from watching my videos back in America, so it's pretty amazing. He wanted to work out at the gym, so we did a workout himself, and afterwards I talked to him a little bit, and he wanted to do a pose down because he's really motivated to also do some bodybuilding contests in the future. Really a fan of classic bodybuilding as well. He's 19 years old, so here, of course, when someone requests to do a pose down with me or any pose, of course, I will always do this. I do know that when I'm at a FIBO, like the Bodybuilding Expo, the FIBO, the Body Power, or the Arnold Classic Expo, when I ask for a pose down or a pose with a famous bodybuilder, when they are competitive at the moment, they rarely want to do some poses with me. The only exception was Steve Laureus, who did a pose down, a few poses with me at the Arnold Classic Ohio Expo. But at the FIBO, I've actually had some people declined to do a pose with me because they didn't want to take a picture with me next to them doing a pose, but I am never opposed to it. So this was pretty nice to meet him and to see him at the gym. Alrighty guys, that was the final workout before moving to the Romania Pro, because tomorrow morning we will be flying over to the Romania Pro, and it's going to be very exciting. It's a qualifier for the Olympia of 2020, so obviously I will have then a very long off season to work on my Olympia shape if I will win the Romania Pro. And I did my very, very best to make, you know, the best possible chance to win. I did everything I could. They want conditioning, I will show them conditioning. I also improved my weak points, but all I can say is I did my very best to bring the very best shape that I can bring right now. Compared to the previous shows, I do look better, and you could see that at the guest performance, but my shape is much better now. Well, obviously, I will leave no stone unturned to bring the best possible shape at the contest itself, which will be this Sunday. So I just want to thank you guys so much for the incredible support. Of course, everything will be recorded, and in the meantime, you can follow me on Instagram to check my stories to see what's going on a day-to-day basis. But Friday will be the weigh-ins, Saturday will be the amateur show on the Romania Pro, and Sunday will be the pro show. So guys, the open class for bodybuilding, you guys know Regan Grimes, Cedric McMillan, Juan Morel, and others who will actually do the open show. So it's a very exciting show. It's the biggest NPC show in Europe of the entire year. So I didn't choose a small show, that's for sure. I had no idea how big it was going to be, but 12 people are doing the Classic Physique class I saw. It's actually the smallest class of all of them, which is surprising to me. I had no idea. And 11 different countries, so it's a very versatile group of athletes. I'm very excited, and I just want to thank you for the support. The website vintagegenetics.com will still be online. You can still place your orders, but we will be back the following Monday, so it will take a few more days to actually send out the orders. But there will be a discount available, Romania Pro 20, for 20% off on everything in the store, clothing wise. So store wide, 20% off on all clothing. Anyway guys, I really want to thank you for watching, for the support. Make sure to follow me at Wesley Vissers on Instagram, and don't forget to stay golden.